What's a harsh reality that everybody needs to hear? You can become disabled unexpectedly at any point in your life. Make sure you are taking advantage of the abilities you have while you have them. Smile. Some people will hurt you, and they won't care how you feel about it. Sometimes you're the bad guy. Holy shit, this blew up. You can love someone with all of your heart and not be loved back in the same way. I wasted a lot of time in my life either being too stupid to learn this or at the very least too stubborn to admit it to myself. My stupid hearts decided it would rather go the rest of my life pining over the one I don't have than move on. My head is furious. My lungs indifferent. Time is the ultimate currency, friend, you can't have more. Spending it on someone is the ultimate show of love, but reciprocation is important to all relationships. Do you think that, after all the time you've spent that has gone unrequited, if this person were to one day realize the potential you've known for so long, that it would feel the way you hope? My experience is that it does not. Go out and live, pursue passions that don't rely on the whims of others. Hopefully somewhere along the way, you find someone you feel strongly about who recognizes the value of the time you want to spend with them. If not, you've still lived a life you can be proud of. Bad things can happen to good people. Good things can happen to bad people. It's unfair. It's life. You can do everything perfectly correct and still fail. One of the best scenes from The Office. Ryan, I just don't know what I did wrong. Dwight, look, not everything's a lesson. Sometimes you just fail. Not everyone likes you. Some people won't like you for very arbitrary reasons, or for no reason at all. It takes way too much of your energy trying to make people like you. Use that energy on yourself and your loved ones. It's a life lesson I learned much later than I could have. Sometimes I think about it in these terms. Not everyone likes me, but hey, I don't like everyone either. It's a Star Trek reference, but it's a very realistic one. It is possible to make no mistake, and still lose. That is not a weakness, that is life. Sometimes you need to accept you did everything within your power right and it still went bad. And remember that this isn't something to beat yourself up over. These things happen. Edit holy hell did blew up. I'm glad to see so many I needed to hear this comments. I know I needed to hear this the first time I saw this scene. Just because someone is your family doesn't mean they have your best interests at heart. Corollary, not all parents love their children. Many parents shouldn't have had children. If your parents are abusive, get out as soon as you can and never look back. Unfortunately, it's only going to get worse. No one should ever have to endure abuse. Having kids is easy, being a parent takes work. This one is both harsh and comforting. People don't think about you as much as you think they do. That means that your feelings might be ignored or not considered. People will forget things about you and might not remember things you've done together that were very memorable for you. That can be hard to realize. On the other hand, they probably don't remember that embarrassing thing you did in high school, or they don't care about it. They notice patterns of behaviors, more than occasional bad days that you have. So those times you feel bad about being off with someone, they probably don't think about them, unless they become frequent. Personally, I find that comforting. You don't realize the good best times as they are happening. Nobody is coming to save you. You have to do it yourself. Be the person you needed while you were growing up. I love this because it provides the right direction for personal growth. I hate this because it means I will never reap what I will sow and shall never sit under the shade of the tree I plant. Little shits better enjoy my hard work. Just because you go out of your way for people, it doesn't mean they will do the same for you. Edit, I didn't expect this comment to get so many upvotes and replies as it has. Thank you for the awards too, for those calling me out saying I shouldn't expect anything back or I'm selfish that I don't go out of my way to help others without expecting anything in return. That's not what my comment said. All I'm saying is, be careful who you drop everything for. Most of us learn that the hard way. Life is not automatically easier just because you're a good person. Expecting life to treat you well because you are good is like expecting the bull not to charge at you because you are vegetarian. You gotta walk your dogs. I heard someone put it this way which really hit home. To you it may feel like a chore, but to your dog it's probably their favorite part of the day. My dogs live for their walks. Working from home really made that blatantly obvious. I used to skip walks sometimes, but after seeing them all day just waiting around to sniff the world, I don't skip walks anymore. That and my one girl is getting older and you realize how much they deserve while they are here. I have doubled the park trips too. Failure is part of life. It is possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. That is not a weakness, that is life. Jean-Luc Picard. Sucking at something is the first step to being sorta good at something. Jake the dog. The master has failed more times than the beginner has even tried. Stephen McCraney. Your trauma is not your fault, but it is your responsibility. Also, that shared trauma is not a good foundation for a relationship. I thought I'd be happy when I graduated college, or when I got my first apartment, or when I bought my first home. Don't expect happiness to be at the finish line. Happiness comes from yourself, in the now. Enjoy the process. Your first relationship most likely won't be your last. When I hear young girls say their first boyfriend is the love of their life, I just smile. That was me. Madly in love at 15 and thought we'd be together forever. It makes me laugh. Thankful my first relationship was loving and respectful enough to make me hopeful for the next. It won't just happen. I spent a lot of my early 20s being sad and defeatist, feeling sorry for myself. I always coped with this by telling myself that I'd make something of myself eventually, and meet a woman eventually, and be happy eventually. The truth is, eventually doesn't come if you don't make it come. Improvement has to be proactive. You can end up 40 years old, living with your parents, playing video games all day, and with no motivation. Nothing will prevent that from happening other than you. Thanks. I've stagnated and needed to hear this. Celebrities and influencers need us more than we need them. The probability of you making it as a professional gamer, streamer, YouTuber isn't worth quitting your job. You have a higher chance of getting hit by a car or winning $1 million lottery. Not saying give up. But be realistic. Keep a job that'll pay the bills while you try. Don't quit your day job until your internet career is already paying your bills. In addition to the odds being stacked against you, you don't even know if you can keep up content production without dipping your toes in a way that keeps your real job. Eminem is 50 years old. Hard work won't guarantee a thing. But without it, you don't stand a chance. Physical appearance matters. Almost everyone is shallow, and if you are ugly, people might treat you as inferior and you will have disadvantages in almost every aspects of life, i.e. pretty privilege or halo effect. Look that up. As an ugly person I confirm. Or fat. I've lost 70 pounds and I get treated differently. Life is not fair. Expecting it to be, will always disappoint you. People will get special treatment for all kinds of things. It will never change. When it's over 1,000 comments. No one will upvote or read yours. Lol edited. Glad I can bring some humor. Smile. It's awful but it's mine. Lol. Not everyone has to shit themselves or hunch over in pain after consuming dairy. Those cramps, that gas, the shit is called lactose intolerant. Get Lactaid or give up the Captain Crunch. Costco has a generic Kirkland version of Lactaid pills. 180 pills for roughly $15. I'm very lactose intolerant, they work extremely well. Edit, Costco.com. It's generally a couple bucks cheaper in store. Depression, an illness, a bad upbringing and many more, these are not excuses to treat people badly. If someone is nice to you, then these are not excuses to treat them like shit. And if you do, they are not required to forgive you. No one is required to give you a second chance. Your mental health is not your fault, but it is your responsibility. Whatever you say can and will be used against you. A closed mouth gathers no foot. This saying works in almost every situation.